Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to, I believe we're in part 9 of our business building website series. Last video, I talked about using blocks in the Themify Ultra builder, and I didn't really get to it because I kind of ran out of time. So this video real quick is just going to be talking about using built-in blocks, which is also going to give you a good base to start on. Because, you know, a lot of times some of the stuff that is like the most troubling for me, or is the most troublesome and difficult to get over, is when you're just staring at like a blank canvas, right? Because sometimes too many options is harder almost than no options at all. They're both kind of can be really hard in their own way, especially with website building. So if you were told like you had to work in a certain parameter, or these are the only items you could use, you may in fact be more creative than having just a blank open slate and saying, here's everything at your disposal. You have all these options and items, because then you get stuck not really knowing what to do. And sometimes you need a little push that will help kind of get you steered in the right direction. For example, look at this block that was pre-built on this site that we imported. So you could see this and get ideas from it. You could make 6 of these. You could put like 4 of these on the left and some text on the right. Right, and you're starting from something that's already there, and sometimes that's helpful. That's kind of why we looked at other sites that were built too. Not to copy. We're not copying verbatim anything we look at, but what we want to do is get a little bit of inspiration, I guess is the right word. Anyway, so if we turn on the builder, you're going to see that menu fly out to the left. All right, and last time I was talking to you about blocks, and I never really went into a depth on these. Okay, so blocks, as you can see, they have like call to actions, features, footers, headers, clients, pricing, all kinds of stuff, right? And these are built-in blocks with Ultra that are kind of a starting point for you to work off of if you are looking for something a little more than, you know what I'm saying? Like it's much easier to just kind of look at these things sometimes when you're trying to get some inspiration, and you can just import them directly in and then start working on them. So let's say we go into the call to action part of this, and this is like, you know, remember I was talking about in your top section, you can have a call to action like welcome to our site, or check out our flowers, or something like that. And let's say you wanted a call to action like, say like this one here. I don't really like that one too much though. Let's take like this 3 action button call to action, and let's put it right under our header. And now it's going to, or our top section, now it's going to import it. All right, now you see how it automatically created this for us. And also, it has a gutter on the edge. I bet you that's how it's set up in the settings. Versus a full width. See, narrow gutter. Okay, no gutter. There we go. Or it says full width. It's interesting that they're a little less than full width. It could be the internals of this as well, or the fact that maybe there's some margin or padding inset. All right, anyway, you see what happened here is it created a 3-section for us to work from. Now, it's kind of a little different from this 3-section, right? But it has a very similar kind of feel to it. It just has pictures instead. And let's say if we wanted that to be our top section, we would just end up getting rid of this, and it would move up. And let's just do that. So now that's the top of our site, and if we view it, or we preview it, now you'll see it's kind of our top section. I'm not really a super fan of this look, of this 3 thing, so let's go ahead and get rid of this and try something else. Let's go for this one here. Let's put that above. All right, that's a little better, right? That's not so bad. And you see how it's actually parallaxed? Parallax is when an image stays still as the page scrolls. You see that? It's kind of like a fixed, like as if it's a background. Like a 2D scroller, like you're playing Mario, and in the very background it's scrolling, but or the background's moving along, kind of like or the background's staying still, sorry, but the rest of the foreground's moving along. That's what's happening here. And see, this actually looks pretty nice. This is full width and everything, and this isn't too bad. It also makes our menu stand out a little better. Our menu doesn't look so terrible. I mean, I would definitely change and get rid of these black squares, but that doesn't look so bad. You know, like I would probably go with something like this. Another thing is, the background, the way that it's set up right now, we could actually inset that, let's see, under the styling, we could actually see they're going to have the picture, and they're going to have it as a parallax scroll. And that's the image type. Now, we could go back to our video we had before of our flower, if we felt like it. And see, that's not so bad. Remember also that if you are, we disabled audio, we could also disable looping. See that? So it could just be like she sets the flower down and that's it. So if somebody comes into the site and we just want it to do that, but we're just going to leave it looping. And this video is meant mainly to show you editing and working with blocks. So I'm not really going to get into super homepage editing or manipulating. I'm actually going to do that in the next video. We're going to have a two mini series inside this series about all the Themify modules that are available, and we'll talk about those. But that already looks a lot better than what we had before, I would say. Let's go for a preview and take a look. And it's keeping it left aligned. Or it could be that the video in the background, I may not have set it as a full cover. That might be the problem. You see how it kind of had that weird gutter on the left? And I don't know if you can set it as a full width if it's a video. You kind of have to make sure the video is the same width. But it doesn't have mobile support, and we talked about that. So in mobile, you'd kind of want to set an image or steady background in the event that mobile phones don't have compatibility with this. But we're not, like I said, we're not going to get super focused on that in the moment. Let's just close the editor, take a look at what we got. All right, that's not terrible. Actually, kind of changed our menu anyway. Our menu wasn't, remember in the preview it was way up above? Well, here it actually moved down, so it's kind of still laid in on the page. And that's not terrible. It looks pretty good for coming into a website, although there isn't really much information here about our business or who we are or anything like that. There's just some flowers shooting in on the right. And I keep saying this header section here is a little difficult, and I don't like how it turns into this weird blue when we scroll. A part of me really is thinking that I want to edit the box style that we went with, because I kind of am starting to be back and forth about this box style idea. And remember, you can find that in here under page appearance. And just waiting for it all to load in. Under page appearance and under the header type, you can change it. And remember, we have a ton of these, and I never really played around with it or showed you guys more than just like the box type. Let's try a header top bar and see if we like that. Oh yeah, you got to save it up here. Okay, so it's loading in. This wouldn't be too bad. I don't really like how the top is transparent until you scroll. It would kind of be cool to have it. This actually doesn't look too bad. It would look a lot better though if this had a solid background color, like if we inspect this element here and we do it on the fly with the developer tools. The header bar, still not that. Like the right here, the header wrap or this header page width here. And the fact that it has no background color, I'm not really a big fan of that. I think that it would look really good if we were able to change it. Let's try, like, see what I'm saying? I'm just playing around with this for fun, by the way. This is just a developer tool. I'm just playing with the CSS. All right, so even if we had like a blue, I'm not really wanting the blue, but as you can tell, you see what I'm saying? It looks already way better, even with something like that. And that's the cool part about Ultra, is it allows you to go through and do all this stuff really easily versus having to change tons and tons of CSS on your own. And let's try another one. I think I liked the original style we had, but I kind of wanted to go for this header block style because I kind of liked having the menu on its own, like above the content. Nope, this one doesn't sit. The header still sits in the content. Kind of want to put it above the content. Menu split is pretty cool because it puts half your menu items on one side and half on the other side, and I like that too. That's a pretty good look too. So let's just take a look at that. This video is just playing around, like I said, guys, with different blocks and different types of menus and all that kind of stuff. See, this won't look too bad either, and it kind of goes with our split design if we were to keep this as our top of our home page. And I still might not even keep this flower video. I'm still not sure if I want it or like it all the way. All right, so we're getting a little closer to something that's looking a little bit better by using that. Let's go ahead and do another block, though, just to give you guys an example, because we're going to get into editing all this stuff in the upcoming future videos. I'm going to actually try to turn it into something presentable, and it's going to slowly work its way as we get closer anyway. But all right, so back in our blocks, let's try to look at some other blocks. Let's go for a contact block. See how nice that looks? Or this map. Man, these are nice looking maps, right? And our one was broken originally, so let's go ahead and get rid of this whole section here that has our street and address and all that. And let's put that block, I need to get rid of this thing that's flying over everything. Okay, there we go, much better. Now let's take the contact with a map on one side and let's drop that toward the bottom. Okay, we have to get a Google Maps API key, by the way, which we will get. I'm not really a fan of this blue either that keeps automatically adding itself in, or the background color, which I actually think is because the row is set with that color. Remember when I said the full rows are set with the colors? So let's go ahead and edit the styling here. Let's see. Row overlay. Well, it says it isn't here, so let's go ahead and save that and exit it out. And let's see what we're working with. All right, and like I said, this is going to be way different. We're going to do a different logo here and a different, we're going to change our menu items to look a lot cleaner. But as you can see down here, now we've added in a pretty decent looking Contact Us section. We would definitely get rid of this color behind it and probably do a little more customization. In fact, I probably have just enough time to just change it up a little bit. I want to get rid of that blue that you see behind these layout sections here. I don't really like that blue. I'm not even really sure how it showed up. It could be because of how I changed the type of header we have, and so it started changing the background colors on these. Because this is the background color of the row. So if we say the background, or we don't want an image. Background color, we might have to manually override it back to white. Yeah. It's just because it's set inside the theme that way. So we're just going to override all these sections. And I might have put these together and no, they're different. Okay, so let's go for the row or the background. We're going to set it as just a white background. There we go. That looks a lot better. That blue was throwing me off. I didn't really like that color. It doesn't look too good with our stuff. Okay. Now, if you had a picture of Chicago, for example, say like a stock royalty picture that doesn't cost you anything, you might actually put a picture of Chicago back there. And let's just do that too. I know this is kind of jumping around because I'm just trying to show you how to work with pre-set up blocks. So let's just go Chicago. And if nobody's ever done this before, by the way, this will be kind of new to you. So we're going to go to Images. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to Tools, Usage Rights, Labeled for Reuse. This is kind of a cool tool. And so most things you see in here you're allowed to use, like public domain pictures.net, you'll see. So see this one here? This is a pretty big picture too. So we can save this picture. I'm going to save it real quick. Okay, and see, so I have it on the desktop now. And I'm just going to now put that picture behind here by, these are different view, or this preview here gets rid of all your ability to edit. You just got to unpreview. And right here, we're going to go ahead and do some styling. And in the background, instead of it being white, we're going to go for a background image. And let's do a upload. Also, remember when I talked about compressing images? This image is probably very big, and I would compress it. How big is it? 947? That's way too big. So I would absolutely compress this, but I'm just doing it to show you an example. Okay, so now we have a picture of Chicago back there, but you see how our text is now getting harder to view and look at and all that? Well, that's pretty easily editable too. We could add a white background behind it. We could change the font to be a different color. The easiest thing to do, however, is usually to take a section like this, go to the orange styling, and select its background color. See that? Now all of a sudden it's much easier to see. And you can actually give it a little bit of transparency if you want with this slider out here. That looks decent. Let's edit the text on this. We go to the styling on this particular text, and we say the font, and we want to say the font color is black. And then also, you see how this whole orange box they're all inside this orange? Well, we can go to the padding. I actually showed this earlier, and you can link the padding so that all the padding is the same. And let's go for 7 to the top. Now how about 15 to the sides? See that? Or 16 is fine. So now it looks a little better too because it's pulled in from the edges, right? So as you can see, real time, we're making a real contact form that can actually be submitted, and then we can get our Google Maps API, which is free and very easy to do, and then we'd actually have our Google Maps load in our business location. Let's edit this because it just says email us, and let's say that's okay. All right, guys, that is going to wrap us up for this video. I just wanted to kind of give you an example of how to do some blocks, how to use the Themify Ultra pre-built blocks to add in some sections. Like, look what we did. We added this section, which is already mobile compatible, by the way, and we changed our menu. I'm still going to get rid of that blue. And we added a contact form down here at the bottom, and I would probably change the transparency of this too, because look how good this looks with this transparency. And this doesn't look so good. Also, you see how these are kind of like a gray, not a black. I'd probably change those to black. But as you can see, we're already kind of working our way towards something presentable, way more presentable. This blue wouldn't be here as well if we actually see how it's because I wanted to turn on the builder. If I looked at this in like a incognito window, that wouldn't be there. But that's going to be it for this part of the series. In the next part, we're going to actually look into the modules, and we're probably going to play around with a bunch of the different modules that are built into Themify. I believe that's in part 10. I'm pretty sure this is part 9. Like, subscribe, comment. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next part.